Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, June 8th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the next few days, the main threats to the Great Basin will be strong winds and low relative humidity today through Friday, with the strongest winds Thursday and Friday, especially over the southern portion and eastern portion of Nevada into western Utah, where gusts will exceed 40 or 50 miles per hour at times, with relative humidity below 10 to 15%. Winds today will start increasing along the Sierra front and eventually spread eastward as we move through this week. These fuels in these areas are still not critical but are rapidly drying, especially in the grasses across the western and central portion of the Great Basin. If we look at the recent weather, over the last 24 hours, we've seen scattered showers and thunderstorms over the northern half of the Great Basin. Most areas saw less than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall, but you can see some heavier areas that received anywhere from 1/4 to up towards 1/3 of an inch of rainfall over parts of far northern Nevada and especially into Idaho and western Wyoming. Over the last 2 weeks, all of the precipitation has been focused over the northern 2/3 of the Great Basin, with very dry conditions over southern Nevada into the Arizona Strip and southern Utah. And even what we have seen over the northern 2/3 of the area has been below normal for the last 2 weeks. If we look at current fuel conditions, ERCs are generally trending up with the very hot and dry conditions we've seen recently and have now exceeded the 50th or even 70th percentile in some areas of far southern Nevada into southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. We are even seeing some spotty areas up further north where ERCs are increasing above the 50th percentile. However, again, ERCs are not truly representative of the fuel conditions, as the cheatgrass that has been fairly abundant over the northern half of the Great Basin has cured out in most of the lower elevations. If we look at the live fuel moistures, the trend has been downward. However, still fuel moistures are near to above normal. Now looking at the water vapor satellite loop from this morning, this strong high pressure that has been dominating the Great Basin has now been pushed south and eastward as a much stronger trough of low pressure off the west coast approaches. As this trough moves eastward, this will be responsible for our increasing winds from west to east across the basin over the next several days. And this trough will remain in place. It will allow temperatures to decrease as we move into later this week, along with increasing humidity and some showers and thunderstorms eventually. But in the meantime, especially through Friday, we'll see strong winds and very low relative humidity across Nevada into western Utah. Now looking at the significant fire potential for today, you can see much drier conditions over the southern and western side of the basin, and fuels get a little more moist as you move north and east and into the higher elevations, but still low to moderate fire potential across most of Nevada into western Utah. Today we will still see thunderstorms over parts of the Great Basin, but lightning coverage should be less than what we've seen the last couple of days, and still some thunderstorms with showers over parts of northeast Nevada into parts of central Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. However, today winds will start increasing from west to east across the West Basin. Generally over the western half of Nevada, we'll see wind gusts between 25 and 30 miles per hour or slightly higher as you move up into the foothills with very dry conditions, so low relative humidity. However, winds will be increasing in the coming days. As we move into Thursday, this area of low pressure approaches the northwest coast, with winds increasing across most of the western and southern portion of the Great Basin, so we will see an increase in fire potential with these stronger winds and very dry conditions, especially in some areas in the north where we've seen lightning, but even down south where fuels are more cured. However, fires have been occurring in the grasses, and cheatgrass is generally cured in most of the lower elevations. As we move into Thursday, looking at the individual components, relative humidity on the left, you can see generally single digits to low teens across all of Nevada into Utah, and those wind gusts will generally be between 25 and 35 miles per hour or higher in some of the wind-prone locations across most of western, central, and southern Nevada into southwest Utah and the Arizona Strip. As we move into Friday, this area of low pressure elongates along the west coast and moves slightly eastward, and again will continue these strong winds and dry conditions across some of the same areas we'll see on Thursday, also will continue on Friday. Relative humidity will come up somewhat as this trough approaches and temperatures cool, however will still drop into the low to mid-teens, and these wind gusts will likely be even stronger on Friday with gusts above 45 miles per hour in some areas, anywhere across western and southern into eastern Nevada, and western Utah and the Arizona Strip. So again, we will be increasing fire potential on Thursday and Friday due to these very windy and dry conditions. Overall precipitation over the next 3 days will be fairly spotty with these thunderstorms and less than what we've seen recently, so only light amounts in parts of the eastern and northern side of the Great Basin. Now looking at the weather pattern as we move into the weekend, this trough moves into the northwest, and this will bring cooling temperatures and showers and thunderstorms to Idaho and to parts of northern Nevada and northern Utah, with still dry and windy conditions over southern Nevada into southwest Utah. We will continue to see low to moderate fire potential over the southern portion of the Great Basin, but we will see those fuels moderate slightly over the northern and eastern side of the basin, at least temporarily. By Sunday, this trough moves across the central portion of the basin, keeping showers and thunderstorms across the northern areas into Idaho and northern Utah, and still dry conditions over southern areas. By Monday, this trough moves well to the east, leaving a return of dry weather across most areas with somewhat moderate westerly wind flow. Again, we'll start to see those fuel moistures increase and a return to low to moderate fire potential across most of the Great Basin, with the exception of the far northern and eastern higher elevation areas. By Tuesday, another deep trough develops off the west coast, and this will bring a return to dry and windy conditions to the Great Basin. Looking at the precipitation over the next 7 days, which includes what we'll see over the next few days with our showers and thunderstorms, and also what we'll see over the weekend, and you can see most northern and eastern areas of the basin will see some rainfall from thunderstorms. However, still very dry conditions will continue along the Sierra Front into western Nevada, and also very only light precipitation in the far south. Looking at the overall extended outlook, with these deeper troughs moving through, we'll see cooler temperatures, so maybe near to below normal, and also wetter conditions over parts of Idaho into the far north. But with these deeper troughs, we'll also see the dry and windy conditions continue over the southern half of the Great Basin. That concludes our briefing for today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you for listening.